everyone. In today's clip, I will talk a little bit about adrenals. Just a reminder that anything I post here is not meant to diagnose or cure anything and is for informational use only. For any health-related matters, please consult your healthcare provider. The adrenal glands are like two little storm lanterns sitting above the kidneys. Tiny organs, huge orchestra. They help regulate stress response, blood pressure, salt balance, blood sugar, inflammation, sex hormones, wakefulness, and survival during crisis. Different medical traditions describe them through very different maps or lenses, but they often circle around similar themes like exhaustion, depletion, overstimulation, inflammation, weakness after chronic stress or illness, and recovery through rest, nourishment, rhythm, and rebuilding. The adrenal glands have two major parts. First part is the adrenal cortex, which produces cortisol for stress adaptation, blood sugar regulation, and inflammation control. It also produces aldosterone for salt and water balance, as well as blood pressure, and DHEA and androgen precursors for hormone support. The second part of adrenal glands is adrenal medulla, which produces adrenaline, epinephrine, and noradrenaline. And these are the fight or flight lightning bolts, basically. So conditions recognized in conventional medicine are adrenal insufficiency or Addison's disease, in which the adrenal glands do not produce enough cortisol and sometimes aldosterone. The symptoms include severe fatigue, dizziness, weight loss, salt craving, low blood pressure, darkened skin, nausea, and weakness. The normal causes can be autoimmune disease, steroid withdrawal, infection, or pituitary disease. Next, we have excess cortisol causing Cushing's syndrome, with symptoms including belly weight gain, thin arms and legs, high blood pressure, anxiety, diabetes, insomnia, purple stretch marks on thighs and other areas. Third, we have pheochromocytoma, which is a rare adrenal tumor producing excess adrenaline, and the symptoms include panic-like episodes, racing heart, sweating, and dangerous spikes in blood pressure. Fourth, we have adrenal fatigue, and many practitioners acknowledge that as a chronic stress, poor sleep, inflammation, trauma, infection, overwork, malnutrition, and circadian disruption can create this syndrome, with symptoms like burnout, flattened energy, wired but tired feeling, poor resilience, crashes after stress, and sleep disturbance. Basically, the body becomes like a violin string pulled too tight for too long, and eventually the music frays. So orthomolecular and functional medicine views on this focus heavily on nutrient depletion and stress chemistry. Chronic stress burns through vitamin C, magnesium, vitamin B's or B complex, and trace minerals. Also, blood sugar instability strains adrenal response, as well as sleep deprivation dysregulates cortisol, and stimulants whip the exhausted system, and chronic inflammation overrides cortisol pathways. So nutrients that are often suggested are vitamin C, because the adrenal glands contain and require very high concentration of vitamin C. Also magnesium, used for nervous system calming, muscle tension, sleep improvement, and stress resilience. And B vitamins, especially B5 or pantothenic acid, B6 and B12. Trace minerals such as sea salt or Celtic salt, potassium-rich foods, zinc, selenium, and ashwagandha, rhodiola, holy basil, licorice root. With licorice root, actually important caution is that It may raise the blood pressure and can lower potassium. So not ideal for people who are suffering from hypertension. But then all vitamins and minerals and herbs must be carefully administered if the person has certain conditions or is on certain medications due to interactions that they might have. So traditional medicine describes adrenal conditions as vital force depletion, kidney energy weakness, nervous exhaustion, heat and dryness, and burnout from excess stimulation. Common patterns with those suffering usually sort of shows as excess coffee, emotional strain, lack of sleep, sexual overexertion, chronic fear and grief, and long-running sort of illnesses. Foods that are emphasized are bone broth, slow-cooked meats, egg yolk, dates, figs, black sesame seeds, honey, soups and stews, and warm foods sort of over cold or raw diets, and massage with warming oils like almond, mustard, violet, or sesame. The idea is to bank warmth and reserves rather than living on sparks and fumes, sort of. Probably the single biggest factor to address here can be the sleep rhythm. The adrenals are like Christmas cactus and love predictable dawn and dark cycles. They hate revenge bedtime procrastination. They try and sleep before midnight and expose yourself to morning sunlight and make sure the room is dark at night with a consistent wake time. Also reduce stimulant whipping like excess coffee, energy drinks, nicotine, and constant adrenaline exposure. Next, stabilize blood sugar. Eat breakfast that is rich in protein, regular meals, avoid sugar sort of spikes and crashes, and consume mineral-rich foods. Next, gentle movement, not overtraining, but walking, stretching, tai chi, swimming, and light resistance work. Exhaustive exercise can worsen burnout in some people. Next being nervous system downshifting through breathing, exposure to nature, prayer, silence, meditation, meaningful connections, and emotional safety. So a gentle adrenal restoration style routine is done through what I have just explained here. One interesting thread is that when rhythm collapses, health often follows. The adrenals are less like isolated little glands and more like percussionists, sort of keeping time with sleep, as well as stress, light, nourishment, emotions, and survival. When the drumbeat becomes chaos, the whole orchestra, of course, is going to feel it. Remember that if you can be, remember that you can actually be sitting somewhere and doing nothing or just resting, but internally you're running from lions and tigers all day. And the lions and tigers are what you create in your mind, whether it's family, finance, work, or anything else that puts you under stress. Hope this has been helpful. My clips are available on TikTok and YouTube as well. Like, share, and follow for more. Be the light.